It's that time again. The annual conference of the American Society of Ag Consultants, otherwise known as ASAC, is going to be held in Fort Myers, Florida, this November 4th and 5th. Kurt Covington is one of 9 professionals who will address the conference. The other speakers who will cover a wide range of topics represent Florida Farm Bureau, Florida Citrus Commission, University of Tennessee Institute of Agriculture, National Ag Law Center, Risk Mitigators and Advisors, Tyler Associates, as well as the lead economist for dairy at CoBank, and myself, Chrissy Wozniak from North American Ag. The day and a half of presentations will be followed by ag tours on Tuesday afternoon at Echo Farms, one of my favorite places here in Fort Myers. Attendees will experience farming at its most creative, with unique demonstrations, plants, and techniques being used to help farmers and urban gardeners in developing countries. A second tour at Echo will showcase simple technologies that can improve food, water, and shelter for millions of people. A third tour of a hydroponic grower is also being planned. For more information and to register, visit www.agconsultants.org. That's www.agconsultants.org. See you there. Today's Ag Spotlight episode is sponsored by Energrow. Energrow's oilseed pressing system helps farmers crush their feed costs. The easy way to make fresh, homegrown, high-quality meal plus expeller pressed oil right on the farm. The fully automated Turnkey Crush Pro is easy to set up and run 24/7. To learn more, go to energrow.ca. Hi, and welcome to the North American Ag Spotlight. I'm Chrissy Wozniak. Joining me today from West Palm Beach, Florida, my guest is at the forefront of ag tech and leveraging the incredible advancements in the industry for more efficient food production. He is currently the Southeast Sales Manager at PlantTape Incorporated. The PlantTape automated transplanting system is like nothing I have ever seen before in a field. I would like to welcome Sam Guererri. Welcome, Sam, and thank you so much for being here.
Hey, Chrissy, thanks for having me.
So we met at the Florida Fruit and Veg Growers Convention in September, where you told me about what PlantTape is doing. First, can you start by telling me about your background?
Yeah. So I got out of the Marine Corps in 2016, and I grew up in Western Palm Beach County with a big group of growers out there, and kind of grew up with all their kids and stuff like that, and ended up working for TKM Vanguard Farms, which is a big lettuce grower out of Palm Beach County. And they have partners out in Salinas, California as well. And I kind of did a bunch of I had my hands in a lot of different things with that farm, and kind of gave me a very, very solid education in agriculture, and just kind of grew my passion for agriculture out of that experience. And then PlantTape actually came out and did a trial with TKM while I was there. And that was how I met Brian Annell and one of the other reps, John Louie, who's no longer with us. He's actually growing cannabis out in the Salinas Valley now. Oh, wow. But yeah, that's pretty much my background in agriculture. And probably a year and a half after I left TKM, PlantTape was kind of looking for somebody to run the Southeast, and my name, I guess, came up to them a few times, and they remembered me. And then I talked to them for probably about a month, and then before I knew it, I was on a plane to Salinas to go meet everybody. And then that was in the fall of 2019.
Oh, wow. Right before the world ended.
Yeah. So then I've been with them ever since.
Oh, that's awesome. So what is PlantTape and how did it start?
All right. So in 2012, Brian Annell went out to Spain. I guess they were owned by Tanner and Ansel, so very large produce company based out of Salinas. And they had seen PlantTape operate before, and then Brian went out to Spain to go check it out and see it, and then they ended up purchasing it for their own needs, because they saw the labor issues coming from a mile away that we have right now. So TNA they bought it, and then they sunk a bunch of R&D money into it to develop it to where it is now. And Um, and then from there, I think in 2017, they commercialized it because everybody in the Salinas Valley was seeing what TNA was doing and the success rate that they had with it. And they have people started pounding down the doors to get one. And then we finally commercialized in 2017. So PlantTape is a automated transplanting system that increases efficiencies in the field, reduces labor costs up to 90%, depending on what your grow operations are currently. We also have trays that maximize greenhouse space. So 5,000 square feet, we can fit 1 million plants in, versus the traditional, 338 trays they take up a lot more room and a lot more spaced out. The modules themselves that actually put the plants in the ground, they're all built in Spain still, but then the framing and all the computer systems and stuff like that on the machine itself is all built and designed in Oregon by a third-party company.
Wow. So the machine, how does it not break the plants? That's my biggest question. How does it do that?
Right. Yeah. So there's actually there's a plant path that goes through there. So there's like a wide opening where the fingers kind of latch on to kind of push the plant along instead of it, grabbing the plant itself. It's locked inside of a pod and has biodegradable tape on it, around it rather. So that's the sense of PlantTape, and it forces it down through the plant path and kind of just runs it along a shoe on the bottom of the planter and just neatly places it down. And it's a really wild thing to see. I still don't get sick of it, of watching it run.
It's so incredible. And so why use started plants and not seeds?
So transplants, there's a handful of different reasons why you would do that. One, seed cost, you can, specific to PlantTape, seed cost can be one issue. The other problem that some growers run into is uniformity. So guys will plant, 85,000 seeds to the acre, but then they'll plant at like 6 inches and then thin to 10 or 12. So you're taking plants out already. So that's a huge labor cost on right there. And another reason is you have less land. You take away land time. So direct seeding might take you 77 days to grow like a head of lettuce, or 77 for like a head of lettuce. 40 to 50 days for like romaine or leaf or something like that. And transplanting kind of gives you, 10 to 15 to even, 20 days of time you're not in the field. So you could probably get a whole other crop out of that field.
Right. Wow. So what's involved in the process of growing the seed? Where is it grown?
So we have four facilities that PlantTape has. One in Boston, United Kingdom. The other one is in Spain, right outside Barcelona, Hollister, California, and Livingston, Tennessee.
Wow.
So customers will send the seed to us. We put it into the tape. We sew it into the tape ourselves. And then we ship it to a third-party greenhouse. And then the greenhouse grows it themselves.
Wow. And so how is it transported from the greenhouse to the farm where it'll be planted? I'm imagining like millions of rows of tape that have to be transported very carefully, I'm sure.
Right. So the tape actually gets put into the trays. So there's 840 plants per tray, versus what the industry standard is 338 or 338. They get put onto the trays, then we palletize them, and then we load them onto on a reefer truck, and then it gets shipped to that greenhouse. Greenhouse grows it out, and then we have bins that the trays will get loaded into, and then those trays will get sent from the greenhouse onto a trailer to the field and grown. And then the trays get loaded onto the planter. Planter is loaded from the trays and then planted.
That's so cool. So how fast is the planter? How much ground does it cover?
So it's a great question. We're actually working on quite a few things with that currently. We've planted stuff anywhere between, we've planted up to 25 miles an hour before, and it was fine. It wasn't like it wasn't anything for like production. It was kind of just for our own amusement, but we did use, we can plant, typically, 4 to 5 miles an hour is right around like what we do. 6 sometimes, depending on the configuration is really where your limits lie. We like a two line, 2-bed, 2-line planter you could probably get out like, 4 acres an hour, maybe 4 or 5 acres an hour. Wow. Depending on how fast you go, your turnaround time, stuff like that.
Right. And what crops are supported using the system?
So we do onions, leeks, tomatoes, hemp, lettuce, cabbage, broccoli, celery, cauliflower, we've done some cucurbits, like we've done some cucumbers, but like romaine is one of our biggest, probably romaine and brassica. Any broccoli or cabbage is our biggest markets.
Wow, so there's quite a lot of crops that you can do then.
But yeah, we also do a lot of Chinese vegetables as well. It's like Napa cabbage, bok choy.
So what is the bottom line? How does the producer increase profit by using PlantTape?
So one of the big things is you don't have a need to thin. If you're using our transplanter, like you don't have to thin because it's all planted, has perfect spacing. We have a computer system on there that monitors the actual spacing of the plants, so it's always perfect. So thinning crews are taken out. Regular transplanting crews, a lot of these current transplanters that are out there in the market are using, they still require a good amount of labor on there. So they'll use, like 5 to 10 people on the back of a transplanter, and then they still have people in the back behind the planter, hand planting. Mm-hmm. Whereas in PlantTape, it requires 3 people. So tractor driver and then 2 people up on the platform, kind of clipping the trays together to get the trays rolling.
Right. Yeah. So this tape system, it's pretty incredible. So where else do you see these types of tech improvements going in the future? I feel like it's endless. I feel like we're kind of in the forefront of the ag tech world, where it's going to, I feel like it's going to explode in the next 10 years into, that's going to be industry standard everywhere now, because what's happening with the labor, what's happening in like Mexico, the amount of possibilities are like endless. We have a sister company called Stout Stout Industrial Technologies, and that is an automated weeder. So that's one example that I see moving up in the world. Is going to be very big, and they have AI. It's self-learning. Right. So it can identify plants versus weeds. And I feel like that's going to be a very integral part of moving forward with technology in agriculture. Yeah, that makes sense. And as you look around at the state of the industry right now, what do you see as the biggest opportunity that producers should be taking advantage of right now?
Yeah. So getting into technology early, implementing it into your programs, and operations while it's, in development stages. So when it is when it becomes like the only option, you already have experience and it's already implemented. You're not, having to kind of run backwards to go forwards.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. The early adopters grow with the industry.
Yeah.
And are right at the leading edge, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And what kind of threats do you think that farmers should be paying attention to?
Labor.
Yeah.
I think labor is probably the biggest threat to American farmers right now.
Right.
And even Canada too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And just the market price. I feel like that's a huge threat as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and increasing anywhere you can increase profitability and efficiency is going to
reduce your overhead. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. So where can people find you if they want more information?
Our website, planttape.com, Instagram, at PlantTape. My email is Sam Guererri at planttape.com. Feel free to shoot me an email.
That's great. So I have one last question for you. Why do you do what you do? Why are you part of this industry?
It's passionate. It's and it's raw. It's real. The people in this industry are just incredible. The people that work in here, the minds that are working in the agriculture industry, the amount of technology and science and coordination and stuff like that. It's all super interesting to me. I have always enjoyed, that kind of stuff, and the people that support it are very incredible as well. I love farming. I love agriculture. I love being outside. I love, the outdoors. So it's a very rewarding. That's probably the best way to put it. It's a very rewarding industry to work in. You get to, you reap what you sow. You get to watch everything grow into, different parts of, I walk through the grocery store, and anytime I go to the grocery store, I always walk through the produce aisle just to see what's out there, what the prices were looking like, and I'm like, oh, there's our lettuce, or like that's our broccoli or something like that. So it's cool. I really like that.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. It is definitely rewarding, and to know that agriculture affects everyone, every single person.
Absolutely.
Right. Not too many industries can say that.
No.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. It sounds like an incredible system. Hopefully someday I can see it run live. That would be so cool.
Give me a call. I got some demos going on this fall down here.
Oh, I might take you up on that. That sounds great. You're not too far from me, so that's great. And thanks to everyone who's watching or listening. If you want more information, the links are provided in the show notes. Don't forget to subscribe to the North American Ag Spotlight YouTube channel and Rumble. And the podcast is available on Spotify, Apple, Amazon, Stitcher, or wherever you listen to podcasts. And have a great day. Thanks so much for listening to today's Ag Spotlight episode, where we put the spotlight on people and companies doing great things for the agricultural industry. Don't forget to subscribe on Apple, Amazon, Spotify, Stitcher, or on your favorite podcasting platform, and give us a 5-star review. You can also follow us on YouTube and Rumble to see the video version of Ag Spotlight. Also, head on over to NorthAmericanAg.com to subscribe to our Industry Connect update newsletter. If you're interested in advertising opportunities, email us at connect@NorthAmericanAg.com. Thanks for listening.